Hello guys, this is the final episode of the Jungle Fundamental series and we will be looking at objectives. So what are objectives? Well, there are the main ones which everyone I think knows about, such as the dragons and the Baron or Herald, or as I think they've renamed it to currently Enchanted Ensemble, whatever that means. But there are so many more objectives than just these main jungle monsters. Another thing which people don't really value as objectives are these towers over here, because at the end of the day the goal is to destroy the enemy nexus, so getting rid of any of these towers really helps us get closer to our final goal. The main way to think about objectives is just anything that can help you win the game, right? And what helps you win the game? Money. So really anything that gives you money can be considered an objective. So a good example of things that you can play for are, the entire enemy jungle, because not only are you getting money, but you're also denying the enemy money. So for me, these are also objectives. And similarly, you always got to make sure that you're getting the minions as well. Let me give an example to draw a comparison between these different types of objectives. So let's say, for example, the enemy team has sent 5 people to go for the Herald, okay? So now we have 5 people over here. But your ADC is here just hitting the tower, okay? And what happens is the enemy, unsurprisingly, do get the Herald, but they actually end up losing their entire bot tower for it. Why is this not a bad play for your team? Well, what is the Herald used for, right? It's used for taking towers, or more particularly the first tower. So if your ADC has gone and done what the enemy are going to use the Herald for, then what's even the point of it, right? So here's the thing, a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on the actual objectives themselves, but you always got to think about what are the objectives actually being used for. For example, the Herald is being used to take towers, the dragons give you stats so you can fight better, right? But what else gives you stats? Gold, right? Gold and items. So you can, if you can get more gold than the equivalent dragon value, then you're in a better position than if you just gone and gotten the dragon yourself. So I'm sure you guys are probably wondering, when should we actually fight for objectives then? And by objectives, I do mean the main ones like the Baron and the Dragon, etc. And this is actually a really easy one to remember, and it's very simple as well. Fight if you're ahead, and don't fight if you're behind. It really is that simple. If you want a general rule of thumb of whether you should be contesting objectives or not, you just check, as a team, are you guys winning or are you guys losing? And again, obviously it's always situational. If your team is winning, but 2 of your teammates have died recently, then while your team might be stronger, you're probably not going to win a 3v5. So in that case, you're probably better off giving the enemy the objective and trying to make the most of your time around the map. Now, since both objectives, the Enchanted Ensemble and the first dragon, will spawn at the same time, often you have to make a decision about which one you want to go for. A lot of things come into play, but the main thing, if you have choice, you can pick which objective you want to go for, the Herald is normally greater than the Drake. Why is this? Well, dragons are really completely useless, and it's only really good if you get the soul in the end. And even then, the only souls you really want are the Ice Soul and the Infernal Soul. Honestly, any other combination of dragons is completely useless. So these are the only good ones. But what can the Herald do for you? Well, it will charge and do a guaranteed 1.5k damage to a tower, which means you'll get at least 2 turret plates, which is 150 gold each, and also if you manage to get the first tower, that's an additional 350 gold for yourself, which is just a lot of extra money, which again you can turn into items, which turns into stats, which are much more useful than the dragon stats. Okay, let's look at the current situation. we saw 5 people bot side, right? And my ADC is dead. And my team is also behind. The score is currently 9-14, and in this game, yeah, it wasn't going the best. So what do I do? Okay, we still see they're all bot side, so that means they're all going to be on the Drake. So I go and push out the wave, push out 2 waves mid lane, and then I go and get all of these camps top lane. Because why should I bother going for the dragon, right? Even if I can steal it, it's not worth that much. And that's another common misconception. While it is really, really cool to obviously go and steal objectives, I'm doing so much more. On the top side of the map, I've taken all of the camps, which not only means I get maybe plus 450 gold or something like that, but the Evelyn, the enemy jungler, loses all of that. And what else? That's not even all I'm getting, right? Okay, I got the mid wave as well and the top wave, and you can see now I have loads of gold, because instead of going for the crazy montage clip trying to steal the Drake, I just went and got the money from the Evelyn's camps, got the waves, and now I'm in a better situation to try and turn this game around. Okay, so I'm sure you guys also want to know, how can you secure objectives? Because you don't want that to be that one guy who everyone says jungle diff because you messed up your smite. So first of all, if you have an ability that does a lot of damage, such as the Nunu's first ability, what you want to do is use this ability and smite basically at the same time. And this basically makes it very hard for the enemy jungler to outsmite you, because normally they're going to wait until around 800, to smite. But if you use both of these, you can smite much earlier. For example, with Nunu, you can do it at around like 1.5k, and they have very little chance of outsmiting you. Another thing is, late game, be careful of mages. Okay, these champs are more important to worry about than the actual enemy junglers themselves. For example, Veigar can do a ridiculous amount of damage with his abilities, and champs like Orianna or Lux as well. So always try and slow down the Baron towards the end, so you can make sure you time your ability and your smite well, and also makes it harder for the enemy to go and time their abilities to try and steal it. Okay, so I'm going to put some nice clips in the background while I tell you the best ways to try and steal objectives. The thing is, you don't want to try and aim the smite, okay? If you go in and the objective is low enough, you will automatically smite it if you just press the button, okay? So all I want you to do is focus on trying to get in at the right time. And once you've practiced enough and just get a feel for when to smite, you'll be able to secure it actually a reasonable amount of the time. You'll see most of the time I actually smite before it even hits 800, so you just got to get a feel for how quickly the Baron is, or whatever objective is, taking damage. So since we are at the end of the series, I'm going to summarize what are the key things I want you guys to take away to help improve your jungling dramatically. So first of all, always full clear to get level 5. Just remember that, and you never have to worry about the early game ever again. Next one is more for the laners. Be careful, the enemy jungle will be level 5 at around 2 minutes every game, so if you haven't seen them, watch out. Next, if you can ward the rocks, chickens or blue buff early game, it really helps out your whole team in terms of being aware of where the enemy jungler is. Now, I always want you guys to clear all your camps and then look for ganks, so you never give the enemy jungler opportunity to take your camps or just lose out on gold. In terms of objectives, don't contest objectives if you're behind. Even if you want to go for the crazy clip, just don't bother, because you'll probably end up losing the game, because you'll die, not get the objective, and just end up losing. And finally, if you are going for that crazy steal or just want to secure objectives, if you try and aim your smite, you'll probably end up messing it up. So just tap it and it will automatically smite the objective. Alright, I hope this series has been helpful and you guys have learned something, whether you're just starting to play jungle or just for whenever you get autofilled. So do let me know if this series has been useful and if there is anything else, any other topics that you guys want me to cover. I'd be more than happy to do so. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace